If your marketing is selling your product, you're going to end up with lower conversions, lower LTV, lower AOV, and higher acquisition costs. All right. So, in this video, I'm going to walk you through what to sell instead and how to do it properly that you can start implementing today in your business. Now, before we jump in, just in case you don't know me, my name is Jeremy Reeves. I am the owner of ScaleAdvisors.com, the author of the #1 best-selling book, The Scalable Profit Model, and I basically show people, how, especially e-com store owners, how to scale faster with more profit, more better cash flow, and less stress. All right, so let's dive in. Um, you probably think I'm crazy for saying that, first of all. So let me explain, right? So when you're selling something in your, this is going to be mostly around your ads, your copy, or really anything that has anything copy related. So your marketing, pretty much, right? There are three different levels, or a hierarchy, if you will, for how you write your copy. All right. The first one is selling the features, and before I go any further, don't click out of this if you think that I'm just going to sell features and benefits. That's not what this video is about. Because I know that is very, very, very old, right? I'm just giving you the layout here. So the first level is features. It's kind of what it is. This is, I would say we're getting better at this. There's still a lot of people that sell the features. I think there are enough, there's enough education out in the marketplace now that more people understand you should be selling benefits, that sort of thing. And actually, it's not really benefits. That's the important thing, but I'll get into that in a second. So that's level one. The second level is benefits, right? So like that's kind of that's what it does, right? So as features is what it is, benefits is what it does, all right? How it helps you, all right? The third level and what you should be selling are outcomes, all right? Because if you think about any product, right, it's not just about the benefits. Why do they want those benefits, right? That's what you should be thinking of. Like, why do they want the features? Because they think that will get them the benefit. Okay, well, why do they want the benefits? Because they think that will help get the outcome. The outcome is what you're selling them. All right. So most brands stop at level two. They think they've kind of finished the copy. They think that's what it is. But level three is that's where you start to like up level. It's sort of where you get to the next stage in your not really conversion rates that much, honestly. Where I see the biggest impact on this is what creates brand. All right. This is what helps your lifetime value. It's what helps your average order value. It helps all the economics of what you're selling because they're not then buying a product. They're buying an outcome. They're buying a better version of themselves. All right. And when they do that, they're willing to spend more money on it. And it may not affect your conversion rate. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It really depends. But what it does, and it does over time. I'm talking about more like short term. Over time, it does because it increases your brand. All right. And when you increase your brand, that's what's going to help with LTV and AOV and referrals and all the things. All right. So let me give you a real example of this, so I can kind of illustrate the difference of what I'm talking about. All right, so the business that I sold, Peak Biome, our main selling product was called Peak Bio Boost, and that was for constipation, and I built that for myself decades ago. What was it, six years I think ago that I built that product. I had constipation most of my life, like never had a good gut. It's actually thankfully resolved now, partially from that product, and I've done a lot of work on my gut since then. So thankfully it's gone. I'm a good pooper now, yay! But yeah, so that was what we sold. So the level one version of that would be like, hey, it has 8 grams of prebiotic fiber. It's clear. It dissolves into coffee. It gets tested by third-party verified lab results. So that like basically you're getting what's in it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? That's all the features of the product. And that's where like you're going to be doing things like a comparison chart. All right. Like, hey, like we have these, the other ones don't have that, yada, yada. And you need them, right? People definitely buy based on features. That is an important thing. They also buy on benefits. All right. So benefits level 2 would be more like it supports healthy digestion. It reduces bloating. It promotes regularity, right? All the benefits that you get from constipation. It helps you feel lighter, all those things, right? So now we're at benefits and people buy for the benefits. All right. So when you combine the features and benefits, people buy it. All right. And the more articulate you can be in your copy, the more clear you can be, the more targeted you can be to your ICP. If you don't know what that means, ideal client profile or ideal customer profile. The closer you can align those, the higher your conversion rates are going to be. But then you take it up a level. And now level 3 is it's really about building an identity around those people, right? So it's going to be your like basically what's the outcome? Like when you can poop better, what is the outcome of that? Well, like beyond just benefits of like losing some weight, yada yada, the emotional output, the deeper psychological output is it helps remove social anxiety, right? And this, I mean, this really goes for both like diarrhea and constipation. It removes social anxiety. It removes the embarrassment, right? It removes a part of themselves that they hate carrying inside themselves, right? Like it ruins your self-esteem when you just always feel like, we'll go the bloated example, and if you suffer from bloating, I'm sure you can relate. When you are bloated, you just feel like icky, right? And you just feel gross, and you don't want to like have sex with your partner. You don't want to put on form-fitting clothing. You don't want anybody to even look at you, because even if your outside appearance doesn't change, your internal feeling changes. All right. My wife is a great example. She is very skinny. She's like 115 pounds, 5'6", 115 pounds ish. And so she's very, very fit, very, very skinny. It does not look fat literally ever. Right. But whenever she's bloated, she'll tell me like, I feel so fat. I don't even want people to look at me because I just feel so gross, right? So it's like those are the things that you're trying. That's the outcome, right? They want to feel better, that confidence, that self-esteem. You're removing that anxiety from them. They can go out and they can just own the day. Like it's those sorts of things. All right. And what you'll notice is that like the product itself didn't change, the framing did. All right. The perception did. That's what's changing. You're shifting their identity. It's about becoming someone better, or at least in their mind better than who they are. I personally, with all my spiritual beliefs, I don't believe anybody is better than anybody else. Fat person is not better or worse than a skinny person. A mean person is not better or worse than a nice person. But that's all my beliefs. I think we are all completely equal in all possible ways. But regardless, we're all human and we have human emotions. And so regardless of what I think, people don't look at that like the same, right? So the point here is that like the customers aren't going to connect the dots on their own. It's your job to help them do that, right? To help them see what that outcome is. It's your job to build a community, an identity that you're building with them. All right, because the more that you can do that, and it's not just about like, hey, you want this, here's this, go at it. It's, hey, you want this, here's the product. Let's do this together. Let's do this as a team. All right. That way you start to break down those boundaries that people have with companies, because a lot of people do not trust businesses. They just simply don't, especially big businesses. But most people don't trust a business until you give them a reason to trust you. All right. And one of the ways you can do that is simply by reframing everything of, hey, friend, we're doing this together. We're doing this as a team. I'm here to support you. Our products are here to support you. Our customer service team is here to support you. All right. And when you come at it like that, being a good human to human, because who are you selling to? One person. I know we all look at charts, and again, like I'm a data guy. I'm looking at data, but I always have to bring myself back to this data is an amalgamation of all individual customers. All right. And so if you look at the data, but then bring that humanness into your business, you're going to see such better results. And it's also going to change the way that you think about how you get those results for people, how you create those outcomes for people. Because if you start thinking this not as numbers, look at the numbers, absolutely get the data, and then switch to being a human. All right. Then that way you already have the numbers in your head, but then you add that human layer, right? I always talk about like layers and filters and all that stuff. If you follow my content, have the data layer, overlay it with the human layer, and you become really, really powerful and just a good human that contributes back to society. And you don't start to create this thing where it's just going after profit for profit's sake, and you're actually building things that help people rather than just add to your bank account. All right, you can have it both ways, and you should have it both ways. That's what makes it, that's what capitalism should be, is building these things that help humanity and help us and help our employees, right? Everyone that's involved, your business should be built around something that when someone comes into contact with you, they leave as a better person because they did. And that's, if you just add that shift, add that belief to everything that you're doing, it's just going to change the decisions you make, the way that you think about things. The way that you build products, what you build, how you position those products, all that stuff. All right. So let's come back to a little bit more tangible stuff, right? So like when you do this, how do you know that it's working? All right. When you start to talk about outcomes, and you start to build your products around outcomes, and you start to build a more holistic business around helping a specific person, how do you know that it's working? Well, number one, you're going to start to see your testimonial shift. All right. It's going to go from like, oh, I reduced my bloating, to, oh my God, you changed my life. Now I can wear form-fitting clothing. I feel better about myself. I feel good enough. I have more energy, so I can go. I got back into gardening, which I haven't done in 10 years because I always wanted to take a nap, blah, blah, blah. You're going to start to see all these outcome-based testimonials, and specifically lifestyle change testimonials. That's a really good indicator that, number one, your product is working, and number two, that your marketing is working. Because when you communicate in a way that is outcome based, they will repeat that back to you in a way that's outcome based. All right, it's like a mirror. What you're saying to them, they're going to repeat back to you. All right, so that's the first way. You're also going to see all of your numbers are going to go up. You're going to see refunds are going to go down because they feel like they're part of something. You're going to see their average order value, especially on repeat purchases. You may get a little bit on the front end especially if you carry this message throughout your ads, in the ad copy, in the video ads, like in all of your creative. If you have a pre-sale page, on the pre-sale page, if you have a sales page, on the sales page, in your follow-up sequences, everything. Like if you have that carry through, you're going to see more on each purchase. The biggest thing though, data-wise, is your lifetime value. All right, because you're going to, I'm sure that right now, think of two businesses. One is just benefit. It's just buy the product, and then the other one is trying to get you. It's helping you become better holistically. It's getting you a new community. They're following up with you. They're offering extra benefits beyond what you purchase. So maybe they're giving extra value, how to use the product, more ways to consume the product, to use the product. They're giving you tutorial videos, whatever that is. Like, you can tell that they're helping you and they want you to get the result, right? I'm sure you can think of two companies, one that's doing it right and one that's doing it well. My point is, position yourself as the company that's doing it well. All right. When people talk about your company, you don't want them saying, oh my God, they just pitch after pitch after pitch. All they give a shit about is making a sale. What you want is, you want them to say, I feel like they really care about me. They're actually trying to help me get the result. All right. And you can do that throughout all of your marketing, whether it's the front end or the back end. It's also going to help with acquisition costs, because in that way, it's going to help through referrals, through word of mouth, right? That is one of the biggest things that people don't realize and should be tracking. It's a little bit harder to track, but like if you have a loyalty program, that's really good to put in here. You can track it that way. There's different ways to do it. It's a little bit harder to track. I mean, it's a word of mouth, obviously, so it's not going to be, you can't put pixels in people's subconscious, right? But you'll see it happening. You'll get more loyalty. You'll see a lot of, you'll see brand searches going up. You'll see non-attributed product sales going up, right? So if you have all your tracking set up properly with Meta and with Google and where Taboola or whatever you're advertising on, you'll see a lot more all the unattributed. You'll see that going up, like all these, that halo effect, right? You'll see people calling your store more, things like that, right? So you'll know that's when it's working. So I guess the final thing is this, is like, how do you do this, right? What is the like step-by-step practicality of this? Really just a couple things, really. Number one is, like I said, repeat this. Just put it as a filter on everything that you do. Train your team on thinking like this. If you do this all the way from your customer support, your operations team, your marketing team, your finance team, if you have a sales team, your sales team, if you add this filter to your company lens, you'll start to see this happening. This is just part of branding, right? So repeat the message throughout all of your marketing, in your ads, on the pages, after the sale, everything, that wherever there's any interaction, you're focused on the outcomes instead of just the features and benefits. Next is build a community, right? This is something, I'm gonna be honest, I struggle with this. This is something that it's so important, and I'm just not a great community builder personally, as of right now in mid-2026. So this has always been a weak point of mine. So if you're not great at building community, it's going to be worth your time to find someone who is, and just have them build it. Give them a rev share of everything that happens in the community. Give them a way to track all the results of it and say, hey, you build a community, you can take whatever it is, 20% of contribution margin, or whatever that makes sense for you. And then the other thing is build an ascension ladder for them. All right. Again, comes back to what I said earlier in this video, is if you have a product, don't just think about it as a product, think about it as a product suite. All right, because that product gives them an outcome. All right, there are more than one ways to give an outcome. All right, so you try to think of that holistically. This is the end goal. What are the different spokes that we can add to give them that end goal? All right, and then once they've achieved that, then they're going to level up into the next goal. So once let's just bring it back to pain. Once they get rid of pain, what changes in their life? What are they going to be moving up to? When that outcome happens, how does their life change? And how do you become part of that next phase in their life? All right. So it's boom, you're just laddering up. That's why I like to call it an ascension ladder. All right. So that's it. That's all I got for you today. If you enjoyed this, I hope it gave you a really good insight, aha, whatever. If it did, give it a like, share, comment, whatever feels right to you. I would really appreciate it. If you want some help building all this in your company, either from a coaching lens or a done for you lens or whatever it is, and you want to be able to scale faster, to improve your economics, to get cash back faster so that you have more cash to reinvest faster, to get more scale, more profit, more cash, less stress, all those sorts of wonderful things that you can and should have in your business, reach out to me. The website is scaleadvisors.com. Just go to the contact form, read one of the pages, whatever it is, just get in touch with me. And or you can just email help@scaleadvisors.com and that'll come to me. Either way, let me know and I will be there to help you. Otherwise, take this, run with it, do it in your own business, send it to your team, whatever you got to do, whatever makes sense for you. I'm here to serve you. Whatever way you want to take that is great with me. So I really appreciate you watching this video. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.